Assalamualaikum. My name is Putri Balkis binti Muhammad Sultan, and I'm going to present the introduction part of the secular humanist. So humanism is being categorized in an atheism group, the one who do not believe in God. Humanism is a belief in human effort and skill rather than the religion based on divine intervention. Humanists believe that humans are intelligent creatures who can manage their life and solve every problems without religion. Humanists advocate for the separation of religion and state, as well as the freedom of conscience and belief. Humanists support secular governance and policies that uphold individuals' rights, religious freedom, and the principle of equality for all citizens, regardless of their belief or identity. These things are contradict with Islamic teaching.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone, my name is Ilya Natasha, and today I'm going to explain about concept and historical development of secular humanism. So secular humanism is like an ideology, and secular humanists believe that this ideology is like a guidebook, and they believe that this guidebook can lead people to be a good person without needing any god or relying on any religion. Secular humanism does not have an exact founder, as it emerged from various philosophical and social movements over time. However, the modern era philosophers like Corliss Lamont and Paul Kurtz play significant roles in shaping and promoting this ideology. Paul Kurtz is not only a philosopher but also an American secular humanist and a university professor who has been known as the father of secular humanism. Secular humanism began as a formal movement in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. However, it is still uncertain because some resources say that secular humanism has grew out of the 17th and 18th centuries. As for now, secular humanism has spread among society, especially in America, and continues to influence various aspects of culture, education, ethics, and public policy. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Nurina Soha. I will continue to present the characteristic of this worldview. So the first characteristic that we can get from the secular humanism worldview is freedom from the religion. Why? Because from David article, I found that secular humanism worldview interprets that God as meaningless to intervene in human life, and also states humans are capable of doing anything without the help of the Creator. They believe they are free and responsible for their own destinies, and that they cannot depend on some transcendent being for salvation. Therefore, human values are way more important in any decision making. This worldview points out religious skepticism, which secular humanists are generally skeptical of supernatural claims, whereby they deny God as the creator and question God's existence. Secular humanists reject the idea God has intervened miraculously, where they believe the universe runs by mechanical laws and dynamic scenes of natural forces that are most effectively understood by scientific inquiry rather than unforeseen matters. So to conclude, they only believe what they can see with their own eyes, and also they refuse to believe any angels being or any unforeseen matters that is trusted in Islamic worldview.
So I'm going to continue another part about shortcomings of the secular humanists. Basically, I cannot find the strength of secular humanism. However, the worldview as a secular humanism has a lot of shortcomings. According to Beck, in his writing on 1982, he tells that secular humanism has a few shortcomings in their findings and studies. There is a thing that they cannot prove with a science or reason. Not only does it not account for the universe existence, but it also is unable to explain how things are structured. Now, secular humanism fails to explain the origin of the universe. Astrophysics has come to the conclusion that a massive explosion that happens very quickly created the universe as a whole, together with the dimension of matter and time. This highlights a limitation in the explanatory power of secular humanism when faced with profound mystery of the universe origin and existence. As Muslim, we believe in Allah. Without Allah, nothing can exist and operate in the universe. Islam is very clear about the belief that Allah was responsible for the creation of the universe. The of secular humanism is that they cannot provide for human morality. Human morality refers to the principal values and belief that guide individuals and society in differentiate between right and wrong behavior. Morality influences how people make decisions and interact with others. Many religions like Islam, Christianity provide moral guidance through sacred texts, teaching and ethical principles. Islam itself emphasizes concepts such as justice, charity and forgiveness. So when someone has a secular mindset or being humanist, they fail to narrow morality concept clearly.
Hi, my name is Christina binti Azam. I will continue on the topic of impact of secular humanism to people and the activities done in different parts of the world. As secular humanism ideologies has impacted people by making contradictions in the ideology and self-centered thoughts since they only prioritize their own rights. For example, the organization Humanist United Kingdom or HUK actively engages in campaign to support human rights. In April 2020, the HUK's campaign to legalize abortion for women as a way of letting women have a right or choice over their own body has been successful in Northern Ireland. They believe that abortion is a good option for any woman with a valid reason, as simple as not being ready to be a mother without taking into consideration of the life of the baby, since humanists do not believe in the existence of souls. Other than that, in 2008, another HUK campaign has successfully abolished the blasphemy law in the United Kingdom and Wales. What is blasphemy? According to Oxford Dictionary, blasphemy is the action or offense of speaking violently about God or sacred things. Secular humanists believe that blasphemy has restrained people from freedom of speech and expression, but this has contradicted the idea of human being to be able to judge between good and bad without believing in God. This has led to discrimination and harassment of religious minorities in the Western world, since people are allowed to speak disrespectfully and spread hate towards others.
Assalamualaikum everyone, I am Halimantus Sadia. I am talking about secular humanism. Secular humanism is a worldview based on reason, science and moral perspectives that puts human flourishing and well-being first, emphasizing the inherent dignity and the worth of every individual, aiming for a future where human rights are respected and human potential is fully released. Secular humanism supports a moral framework based on empathy, compassion, and social justice, even though it may differ from religious belief. So we can get the Quranic verse from Al-Hujurat 18 verse and also the Surah Al-Ma'idah 8 verse about the secular humanism. The ideas of secular humanism have been essential in advancing social justice, human rights, and science, leading to developments in fields like government, education, and health. Secular humanism is a powerful remedy for the division and intolerance that are frequently promoted by sectarian ideologies because it emphasizes the value of empathy and cooperation and reasoned conversation. Thank you, everyone.
We will begin our discussion related to secular humanism. Anyone may start first?
Secularism is not a new ideology. This idea is separating politics from religion. This idea, which has taken over the world, was battled by the prophets. Secular humanism, in other words, they don't need God to assist or to justify the specialness. That is the secular humanist idea.
Can anyone explain in details or perhaps give one example?
Sure, we can take one example from the story of Prophet Shuaib alayhi salam. His people believe in God, but they believe that he existed, but they were secularists. Why? Because they didn't believe that the religion had anything to do with the worldly life. Prophet Shuaib alayhi salam enjoined his people to stop cheating. The skill set, they responded sarcastically because they don't believe in God. The Quran documents it all.
Any evidence to support the statement given by Sister Noreen?
Yes, there is. From Surah Hud ayah 86, Some explanation from this verse is that people of Prophet Shoaib salam question him, what do the prayers have to do with how we use our money, and what do the prayers have to do with our economic system? They refuse to believe this link.
What makes them refuse to believe this link?
So as we know, secular humanism points out that human beings are capable of being ethical and moral without religion or belief in any deity. So the fundamental to the concept of secular humanism is to strongly held from the viewpoint that this ideology, be it religious or political, must be truly examined by each individual and not simply accepted or rejected on faith.
So we can conclude that secular humanists did not want to relate all aspects of life with religion, because to do so they need to live a life of pure submission to God and put aside their desires as human beings for what God wants.
What is humanism? Humanism is a philosophical school of thought that in its contemporary form is similar in its thinking to atheism and agnosticism, in that most contemporary humanists reject the existence of a divine being, focusing instead on the possibility and responsibilities of humans for creating their own reality. Rather than focusing on God and religion, humanists promote individual and collective well-being through exclusively natural and human means. Scientific discoveries motivate their approach to life, rather than a reliance on revealed religion. In its earliest iterations, humanism merely focused on manifesting a spirit of goodwill towards others, putting human beings above other interests. Initially, it was not opposed to Christianity, but in fact drew on Christian values as expressed in the Gospels, and in turn infused Christianity with a renewed interest in the humanity of Jesus Christ. During the Enlightenment, many humanists began to see religion, particularly Christianity, as more of a problem than an asset. Religion became associated with irrationalism, superstition, and oppression, particularly because of the authoritarian claims of the Church and its unequivocal claims about God. A divergence between reason and revelation ultimately led to the rise of secular humanism, a position much closer to atheism and agnosticism. Some humanists may embrace a religious yet non-supernatural approach to the pursuit of human well-being. They may recognize value in the ethics, rituals, and ceremonies of religion as a means of furthering the humanist goal of building on human abilities. Secular humanists, for the most part, reject this approach. They argue that individuals have the right to define meaning for themselves, rather than relying on religion or some divinely given external source.